So this is a seminar about trying to get a sense of concepts like Anthropocene and Technosphere from a much more spatially differentiated perspective. The question that we are trying to address is whose Technosphere. This is a question that was prompted by trying to make sense of something that seems to be gaining traction from a different perspective, a perspective which I think is not well represented at the Anthropocenes that I have attended. You have a formerly colonized part of the world that continues to be represented predominantly from an outside view. And the question is, so what would that kind of discussion inform in terms of concepts like this? The seminar itself is trying, therefore, to look at the utility of multi-perspective. If you look at the same thing from a different perspective, what does it look like? Which is a democracy of knowledge that I think is healthy. It allows us to draw in multiple knowledge traditions. The way that I designed this seminar came out of a frustration that we seem to be basing notions of Anthropocene, Technosphere on Western reference. The central reference remains this idea that we live in a world of technological vertigo. It's dominated so thoroughly, it's immersed in technology. At the same time, what we are seeing, what we are called to address is the idea of human action, the anthropos, human agency, as it were. The sense that this seminar hopes to portray is that this may be further downstream of even more pertinent questions. Questions like, if you imagine that this is a world that is where human action is either messed up the world, or if you want, made it more technological or better, and that technology pretty much comes to run life. It is a force of its own. It assumes several things. One, it assumes that we are so sure what it means to be human. It's number one. And so, what if we look at moments in history, right up to the present, and in future time, where the articulation of humanity also comes with a dehumanization of others, where one cannot take for granted the idea that you are human or the reality of being human, because it's something that can be taken away from you anytime. You look at during the Nazi period, you had people who could actually be designated louse. They could then be killed, their death justified as killing lice, delousing. You look at Rwanda, 1994, people died as cockroaches. You look at slavery, and you have the transformation of the enslaved into units, means of production, machines, technologies. So tell me again what technology is. Because what it is the thingification, what MECZ called thingification, the reduction of people to things, either meaningless things, dangerous things, or vermin, or useful tools. So we should not assume that when we talk about the anthropos, the idea of humanity is already a given. It is not. That's the first. The second is the question of technology itself that undergirds the idea of the technosphere. And already we should be skeptical about claims to definitiveness that come with the word "the." It's too strong a word. When it's then appended to technosphere, it's an even stronger, potentially not well thought out statement, because it comes with consequences, comes with the assumption that we really know already what technology is. All we are there to do is to bear witness to what it does. So this is a seminar that, in a nutshell, is trying to ask questions. If you say technosphere, whose? If you say Anthropocene, whose? If you say human, whose humanity? If you say innovation, whose innovation? If you tell me that this is technology, whose technology? The idea is to make people so uncomfortable about the truths they have invested in concepts. I think that would be a good starting point for conversation. Suffice to say that I think the team that we have for this is a very appropriate team to do this, and it's trying to plug in two main things. Its composition is, for example, trying to address what I feel is the problem with Anthropocene at the moment, point blank. It's still too white. It's still too northern. In future incarnations and iterations, I would like it to be more diverse. What, for example, would an Anthropocene campus that involves and includes Maori, a person from Maori traditions, a real Maori, a person from Native Americans, more Africans, I think, more people from China, across the world. I think if we do that, we would be getting towards a commonwealth of knowledge. Do I see it yet? No. I don't see it yet. It could be that these are the birth pangs, and we will get there. This is the second time I'm at the Anthropocene. I would like it to see it sooner. So my own small contribution was to bring in one female scholar, Gabrielle Hecht, to continue to address the gender dimension to this, the gender sensibilities that come with being different. There's a difference between a man's location vis-a-vis discourse and a woman's one. I brought in 3 African scholars, black scholars, to come in and actually increase the diversity. But this is diverse quality that we are talking about. We are looking at a very excellent scholars in their own right, an archaeologist who has distinguished himself in the historical dimensions and philosophical dimensions of mining and metallurgy, is driven by African originality. We have possibly the preeminent scholar of philosophy from an African perspective, D.A. Masolo, We have arguably the most talented graphic designer to come from the Global South, Ches Maviani Davis, who talks about asking questions. So that's what he's going to do, to ask questions. And then there's Gabriel, who needs no introduction in STS, who is combining these multiple geographies of things technological from across the world. And I think that there could be a good dividend in doing this.